Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, July 6th, 2026. This is number 163 in the series of Nerds, where we are having Captain America Brave New World Reconsidered. We are going to have a conversation about this film from 2025 that inspired by an epiphany that I had when rewatching the film recently. And I thought that I would bring those thoughts and feelings that emerged from viewing this once again at home. And I had run across certain aspects of the story and thought that we should dig deeper and find out why this may be a better film than originally considered and presented to the masses, to us individually, and as an overall Marvel cinematic experience. So that's what the subject is this evening. I want to say welcome everyone. Please smash the like button if you haven't done already. And keep it in mind that this may be something you may want to jot down and take some notes about. I got my brother and partner in crime joining me this evening. We got Drew Titan in the building. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Beautiful day, as long as we're breathing, right? Praise the Lord.
Yeah, breathing is a good thing.
Yes, it is, man.
It's
And
a good
this is interesting. It's an interesting conversation. And it's also a I like the title, Reconsidered. That's a very, very powerful. It's funny how one word can change things. Because when we spoke on this yesterday, I said, they didn't trash this movie badly. They didn't do it. But I do think it didn't get the praise that it deserved. I've heard things like it was rushed and, with the Red Hulk thing and, I think that the audience didn't look deep enough into this film, and it's better than we give it credit for. So I think when you reconsidered what it meant, and actually what Captain America means to not only the MCU in America, but what he means to the world as a hero, because the Avengers saved the world. It's just that the battle took place in America, but they saved the world on more than one occasion. So the fact that the mantle was passed on to Sam, it's a feat in itself. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting discussion, story-wise and actor-wise. But we have some time to get into that.
Yeah, and just want to remind everyone that we're simulcasting across a couple of my channels here. And we will, as we get into the meat of this conversation, be requesting that you click that link for Rumble to get the full effect of the content. We got the Stormy B Man and Stormy B Man's Temple of Culture and Entertainment channels running through. And this is for the purposes of keeping the channel thriving, but as well as letting you guys know exactly what side the bread be buttered. Okay, so as we get into this, we did do a show on this film, and even at that time, we acknowledged the, I guess we could say, uh, the springboard for this film, which was the Marvel television series on Netflix. I'm sorry, on Disney Plus, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was to have taken place after the events of Endgame,
Right.
and saw Sam Wilson become partnered up with Bucky Barnes. And after receiving from Steve Rogers the vibranium shield, Sam felt the pressures of accepting the role and new mantle as Captain America, and gave the shield back to the government in that television series. And there was a new Captain America played by Wyatt Russell, who would go on to become a Cap that he wasn't anything like Steve Rogers. John Walker was a different type of a person. And we're not,
To say the
we're
least.
not, right? And he's still around too. If you saw the Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
he's still around, John Walker. But the whole point of it is to see the reason why Steve gave the shield to Sam, and why Sam ended up growing into the role that was bestowed upon him. Now, as we reflect on this film, Brave New World, Sam has been Captain America for a few years. Thaddeus Ross has gone from a general to a senator, and now in this film, president, newly elect President Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And Ross has always been an SOB. And the story continues on into this film. For those who have followed the comics and the MCU from its inception, you know, Thunderbolt Ross was hot on the heels of Bruce Banner, and wanted to not only bring him in and take him down, but he wanted what was in Banner, which was the alter ego of Hulk. And he fought vigorously to try to get at Hulk, reproduce Hulk, try to do something to separate Banner and Hulk. He was really at no ends trying to do these things, even to the borderlines of unethical things, and forcing his daughter Betty to break away from him and not disown him as her dad, which is one of the reasons why we hadn't seen her throughout the MCU, because she went her own way and stayed, you know, off the radar, so to speak, and had nothing more to do with her dad. But there was someone from the film, The Incredible Hulk, who Ross had been watching, and that was Banner's communicating friend, who was trying to help him with his gamma radiation sickness, and that was Dr. Samuel Stearns. And Stearns pops back up after many years. We hadn't seen the guy, but he pops back up in Brave New World and is a major role player in this film. I'm kind of laying the groundwork to let you know that there is so much that was going on with the story of this. You will have had to known some of this from the television series, from previous Marvel films, especially The Incredible Hulk, to be able to put this story together. But also, as we're focusing in this evening on Sam Wilson, Steve Rogers gave this man the shield for a reason. Just as we found out that Rogers was worthy to lift Mjolnir in Endgame, we find out that Rogers passing the shield on to Sam Wilson had a lot to do with Sam's integrity and the way he was as a soldier and a man who championed causes of the people.
And what do we say? It takes one to know one, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what do these kids say today? Real recognizes real.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that went over people's head.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I don't even think they meant to do it as well as they did, but what came across very well is when Sam and Steve crossed paths in the Winter Soldier film. You know, Steve was still a man out of time. And when he came across Sam, who was another military man and soldier, but Sam was no longer a soldier out in the fields. He was now like a counselor or something of other soldiers who may have had some issues, you know, with whatever they faced since they served their tours. And Steve was able to see firsthand Sam's ability to deal with people, their problems, to deal with their psyche, and he was good at it. That gave Steve, in Steve's mind, high marks for Sam. And they became very good friends, almost as good friends as Bucky and Steve. And if you really think about it, the story of the Winter Soldier and everything that he was noted for, it was Sam that assisted Steve in bringing him in and turning him around. So the three of them have become like the three amigos to a certain degree. And you saw a little bit more of that in Civil War, as well as the Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Bucky came to Sam and was like, hey man, what you give the shield up for? Steve gave it to you for a reason. So Bucky was kind of pissed off at Sam for that. But this conversation and what we're getting to, and you guys might get a sense that I'm stalling, but I'm not stalling. I'm just kind of filling you in with material. Sam didn't want the mantle of Captain America because he was an African American man. In this present world and the world of the MCU, that he felt that was a burden he just didn't want to carry. Now, the fact that Steve passed him that shield, though, you cannot overlook that. You can't. It wasn't Ross. It wasn't the president before Ross. It was Steve Rogers, someone who had been at war and in war and battles side by side with Sam. In fact, let me call a moment that could possibly bring chills or raise the hairs on you. If you remember in Endgame, when Steve was standing there
by himself,
who was
the first person
to face Thanos with a broken shield, all battered and beaten down, and he tightened that strap down on his arm from that broken shield and he was ready to step to Thanos and that portal opened, the first thing you heard was
Cap
Cap
on your left.
on your left. That was Sam.
Yep.
And that harkened all the way back to the Winter Soldier. Even when the events of the Winter Soldier wrapped up, Bucky had shot Steve. Steve was in the hospital. And earlier in the film, when they had first met and everything, Sam had told him, he said, must be hard getting used to things after all those years in the ice. And Steve said, yeah, you know, I'm catching up. The internet is helping me out a lot. And he tells him, he was like, Marvin Gaye, Trouble Man soundtrack, everything all wrapped in one right there. And he said, I'll put it on the list. And he pulled his little black book out and he wrote it down. Well, at the end of the movie, when he's in the hospital, healing up from his battle with the Winter Soldier, Sam is right there on his left playing the Trouble Man soundtrack. You see how easy it is for people to overlook things, Drew?
Well, you and I talk about this all the time. How we view things is I don't want to say it's a more on an analytical note, because it comes off as we're nitpicking. The thing is that we pick up, it's obvious to us because we pick up on things like that. And in this day and age, where we see the hidden messages, not even hidden messages, we see the messages in these films. It's just an action film to the younger generation. And I get it, you know, but these are things we pick up on. I think we spoke about, did we ever talk about the Planet of the Apes films?
No, that's still on the dossier for us.
Hidden messages in that. It'd be hidden to the people that aren't paying attention, but I picked right up on a lot. I picked right up on a lot of that crap, man. Even in the original one, just to digress on that, even the one from the 70s, one of the apes told one of the black men, he said, even you can understand. I forgot the exact line. He said, even you can understand what we're dealing with. You remember that? I forget which one that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I said, oh, shit. They went there. And again, that's why I like the title of tonight's show, Reconsidered, because there was a lot. People don't understand. Cap could have gave that shield to anybody. Why did he pick the guy with no powers that wasn't Hawkeye? Think about that. Integrity. What does Captain America represent? He's not the strongest Avenger. He represents honesty. He represents what they call the American way. And he actually, the character fights for the rights of every human. He don't only fights for America. In fact, that's what Superman used to say, truth, justice, and the American way. They had to get rid of that because he defends the planet, not only America. You understand? That's what Captain America is. He's Superman light. They call those guys, I've seen in books where they call Captain America Boy Scout. I've seen them when they call Superman Boy Scout. You know what I mean? So there are things in this film that I think were coming off of the climax of Endgame, because that was a spectacular film.
Oh, good.
That was a spectacular film. You want to remain on that high. And I know people they went to the theater and they want to experience that same climatic feeling. And although Brave New World didn't capture that, it wasn't any less of a great film because of the storytelling. And I think people lost that. The reason why, and I like that you said Sam did not want to be Captain America. When Cap showed up at 105 years old and said, here, take this, he's like, what? You don't want to give it to somebody like Bucky who can really throw this shit. You don't want to give it to Thor. He can run around with the shield and the hammer. You don't want to give it to somebody, that got power. Me? It's not about what you can do, flipping off of buildings and survive a 10-story drop. It's what Sam represented. And it didn't matter if he was black, white, Latin. And another thing that people didn't pick up on, Sam's right-hand man is a Spanish kid.
There you go.
You see?
Paying it forward, right?
You're paying it forward. And see, these are things I picked right up on that. I said, oh, I like that. He gave it to the black man. The black man's his kick is his sidekick is now this Latin kid. I love that. And what they're doing is showing that there's no barriers in what they're doing and what they're building. That's what the Avengers represent. That's the world. And I think people lost that.
They did.
I heard people say that they could have busted down into like a 3-part miniseries on Netflix or on Disney. Maybe, but I enjoyed the movie. And Sam got it done. And that was off of the Falcon and Winter Soldier miniseries, which was also a damn good series.
It was very good, bro. And we covered that. We covered that. And in fact, YT decided to, kind of demonetize the show because I had showed that clip where Sam gave that speech at the end,
which was so powerful.
Oh my goodness, that speech was something else, bro. But his story in becoming Captain America, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was totally necessary because we got to see the journey of him.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see who he was that we hadn't seen before he became a partner to Steve. We find out that he's from New Orleans.
Yep.
And the Bayou, those people, some of them people down there are so down home, they welcome you. You know what I mean? That's his character. That's who he is as a person. And you saw and met his sister, where his sister was like, you always trying to save everything. It's like, that's just who he is.
Nature. That's his nature. That's who he is.
And when he finally did decide to receive the shield, did you see him putting in the work, practicing?
He's hitting those trees. And you know what else? This is something that everyone picked up on when he said at the end of the film, when he's fighting Thunderbolt Ross as the Red Hulk. Did you hear when he said, maybe I should have took the serum? I said, oh, man. Now, mind you, he's flying around with Wakandan technology, so he's kind of protected. But he was like, damn, man, maybe I should have took the serum. So this is how wholesome this man is, because I'm looking at the movie and the whole time I'm like, I think he's the next to Stark, but Stark got all this armor and stuff. I'm like, he's human. He can get shot, stabbed, crushed. And if I was in a situation where the Avengers like, yo, you want to run with us? I'm like, yo, you got any more of those serums? Because I'm no, bro. I'm not doing any of this. You got to,
That's what was really also amazing about this film, where we got to see him against a really, really good villain, Sidewinder, played by Giancarlo Esposito.
Holy smokes, he's good. He's good, man.
Man, Giancarlo.
He's been around, for y'all that don't know, he's been around since the 80s.
Yeah.
And I can't recall.
He was in School Days, which was the last show that we did, Nerds.
He was in
Big Brother Almighty.
He played Bugging Out in what you call it?
Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing. That guy, he was in the Mandalorian. That guy is super talented, and he needs a Hollywood star ASAP. And sidebar, you know, he went through some personal issues with his wife or something. You know about that?
No, I didn't.
We got to look it up. I believe he went through, it was like a evil divorce or something, and he was suicidal at one point. That's how bad it was. Got to read up on it. I don't want to, like, you know, get anything wrong, but she took half his shit or something like that, and he regathered himself, and then he got I forgot what role he got, but I think it was one of the Marvel roles. It was this Marvel role or the Mandalorian role, something. It was something fairly recent, and it brought him back. And I just want to give that man his flowers, man. That guy is really good. But did he not play Sidewinder? You know what I like about
he was scary as
he was, man. You know, when you can kill with that demeanor, it's like, holy smokes.
He's almost like Bullseye and Punisher and all of that.
Yeah.
One, right? It's like that's who he is.
Sidewinder's from the Serpent Society, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and I like what Marvel did with them in the books. If y'all look up Serpent Society, they all dress like snakes. But you know, they updated that, and I like how they brought it to today. And those guys are just on some Frank Castle shit. There's not just one Frank Castle running around. There's a bunch of guys running around trained like that. And he was one of them. And he almost got Sam out of there.
He said it. He was like, when they offered to pay me to kill, he was like, I'd kill Captain America for free.
Yep.
Sick. You know what I'm saying?
That was sick. And he's still alive. So
still alive, still out there, so he could make a return.
Up the Serpent Society, there's how many of those guys? There's like 6 of them, 5 or 6 of them, right? One of the guys was one of the what's his name? The first season of Luke Cage, when it was on Netflix. What's his name at the end? Wasn't that character supposed to be part of Serpent Society? Forget his name.
The guy that did the what do they call it?
Not that was season 2. Season 1, when Luke fought him at the end. Copperhead, I think they called him.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't seen that in a while. You know, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think he's part, and they put his outfit on, and it looked kind of true to the comic. And they called him Copperhead. And if you Google it, I'll pull it up. And that was the big fight at the end of season 1. Let me see if I can pull that up. Serpent Society. Oops. There we go. Yeah, this is them. Let me pull up a good picture. Then they got some real good pictures. This is them. Let me share this. Share screen. That's them. Now, I think I don't know the name. I forget the names, but I think Copperhead, I think that's homie in the back right there. Yeah. The big one. But there's about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 of them. Sheesh. And I forgot all of their names. But, you know, I was a huge fan of the Marvel Universe. Oh, wait, here's a better picture. Let me get this up here. Sham it. Right there. That's all of them. Okay, that's all of them right here. And I think Copperhead is one of them. I think he's at the end of Luke Cage in the first season. Oh, they got their pictures right here. That's Copperhead. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that is Copperhead. Sidewinder. And yeah. So it's the Serpent Society. But I love, here you go. There you go.
Yep.
And I love how he played it, man. He was ruthless. He's throwing. You got beef to the point where you throwing a grenade inside of a car. Come on, bro. Trying to incinerate him.
He shot the car up.
Yep.
And then there was a hole in the windshield, and he threw the bomb in the hole in the windshield just to make sure everything is special.
Yeah.
And I only remember because I just was watching it a couple of days ago. I'm like, man, Sidewinder is a son of a gun, bro. He's like,
man. And my bad, they saying that this was supposed to be Copperhead.
Yeah, that's the dude that Sam broke his arm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So who
when
the
they
fuck
when they were fighting, because he stayed back when the other people left. When Sam was walking in on Sidewinder, and then who came up behind Sam, and then they started fighting, and Sidewinder escaped. That's this guy right here.
Right. So who the fuck was
and he also was the one that cut Sam's costume.
Yeah.
Because he had to change to the vibranium one after it got cut. Because before that, the white Captain America suit that he had, just the wings was vibranium.
Right.
When he switched to the blue one, that was the one that was full vibranium.
My bad, Stormy. It was Diamondback.
Okay.
He's named after a snake, but Diamondback was the and I don't think he's a part of the Serpent Society. But Diamondback from the comic book. Let me pull that up for you.
Yeah, Fire Beast says Brave New World was a better movie than people gave it credit for.
Yes.
When it came out. This is why we're doing this show. Because, like I said, if you read the title of tonight's show, this movie is far better than they give it credit for.
Absolutely.
And let that be a segue into us going ahead to make our move over to Rumble. So any of you who are out here right now that haven't done so, go to the top of this chat and click the link for Rumble. Those who are already signed up at Rumble, just go ahead and wait for us over there while we have a small interlude, because we're getting ready to cook on this movie.
Going to Rumble. Click the top so you get the exclusives. We could play these clips freely and not be bothered by Miguel and company.
Yep. So we'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. I'm going to take this down. I'll be able to put it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys do that while we make that move.